Welcome to Cashflow Diary, a podcast where we discuss business, money, real estate, and the sharing economy. As a full-time real estate investor, entrepreneur, and all-around problem solver, I have had the privilege of developing individuals into powerful business owners. And today, the focus turns towards you. Our mission is to help you build your real estate empire by leveraging strategies to grow yourself, your mind, and your wallet. Let's get started. Right now, we are talking about capital and funding, and specifically today is wealth is for everyone. And that means you. It also means me, but that means you. And we should be using that as an affirmation to help us grow, to help us believe, to help us risk, to help us do the thing that we're afraid to do sometimes, even though, well, we know we should. It's not going to hurt you to try. It might hurt you to regret, though. I hear that that's heavy, and it's a bill that's hard to pay. All right. So what we're going to do now is just go through questions. I prefer to go through questions in rapid fire. If you've not had $100,000 day, you should have a question. So if you've not had $100,000 day, then you should have a question. And what I'm saying to you is ask it so that you can move forward. Whatever that looks like for you doesn't really matter to me, right? Doesn't really matter to me. Now, with that, Mr. Brown, how are you, sir?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how can I help?
Well, I think my biggest question is I'm a beginner in the short-term rental space. And I've been, I guess, at it for about a year now. So my biggest question is, how do I get around just consistent occupancy? I think that's my biggest problem.
Got it. When you say consistent occupancy, can you tell me what occupancy has been? Because that by definition, what you've currently experienced is what you're considering inconsistent. And sometimes we could just have a false expectation, and it actually could be consistent. So I need to know what that is, and that'll help me help you.
Okay. Well, my situation is a little different with the Airbnb. It's
Okay.
more midterm.
Yeah.
The regular Airbnb. And so I'm also catering to the nurses, the traveling nurses, and also corporate emergency housing, just those in that lane.
Sure. So let me be more specific. When you say inconsistent, out of the last 30 days, how many days have you experienced vacancy?
I have a vacancy right now, but the last 30 days, they left about maybe 15 days ago.
He left about 50. Okay, this is perfect. So, and how long has it been since? So 15 days. So are you saying you've been vacant for the last 15 days?
That's correct.
Okay, got it. I'm starting to get a picture. And
it's also, it's on bi-monthly basis.
Yeah, no, I understand. And I didn't say this at the beginning, but I've been in the real estate space for a while. Cell phone towers, short-term rentals, apartment buildings as small as 5 units, as large as 182. We currently operate a portfolio of short-term rentals in multiple cities and states ourselves, as well as teach and train others in 17 different countries how to do this business. I am familiar with nearly every version, flavor that is out there on the market. So I got it. I hear everything that you're doing, and I'm in a number of I call them extended stay markets myself. So I get it. I understand. Where you're in a situation in which the minimum length of stay has to be this. And yet sometimes if someone leaves, it's not always a turn at the beginning of the month and this, that, and the other. So totally understood. How many units do you have? When I say units, that's different than number of bedrooms. How many units?
We're just talking one unit.
Okay.
Right now, I'm a beginner like I said, it's only been a year.
Yes, no, totally understood. Totally understood. I got it. And then is that a house? Is that an apartment building or apartment
It's a
unit?
house,
It's a house. How big is the house?
duplex house.
Oh,
One side is rented out, and the other side I flipped it into Airbnb.
got it. So, what is the
Family,
bed?
property.
What is the bed? I'm sorry, what?
Family property.
Oh, okay. What is the bed? It's like how many bedrooms are on the short-term rental side?
2 bedrooms, 1 bath.
Got it. All right. So 2 bed. Okay, got it. And do you remember off the top of your head the square footage?
1720, just for that side.
Yeah, that's awfully large. That's nice. And what is the distance to the closest hospital?
10 minutes.
No, distance, not time.
That's a good question. I would say I've only dealt with the time because when the nurses want to find out how close they are to the hospitals, most of the hospitals are at least 15 to 20 minutes away from the unit.
Mm-hmm.
That's at least 4 different hospitals.
Got it. And of those 4 different hospitals, how many are a level 1 trauma center?
1.
Got it. And how far are you away from that one?
I think that's the furthest away, the 20 minutes.
Got it.
Because, and Oshner, the trauma center is across the river. So that's probably
Across the river. What geography are we? Where are we?
New Orleans.
New Orleans. The big, not easy right now. Is that what you're saying?
Perfect.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Cafes, restaurants,
Got it. Okay.
bars, music, that okay.
Got it. So, and all right. So let me say a number of things. All of these. So first and foremost, hopefully you have something to write with because I'm going to give you I'm going to do a download real fast to you. But hopefully for those of you listening, you too have a pen and paper because again, the diagnosis process is very similar for almost all strategies. So I'm just going to lay it out for you. By the time we're done, you're going to have heard it so many times. There on your paper, you're going to write L times C times F times M equals GP. That is L as in Larry, C as in Cat, F as in Frank, M as in Michael equals GP. We will teach on this at a later date, but L stands for leads. Then it's customers, then it's frequency, then margin. Leads, customers, frequency, margin equals growth potential. So this is the first of many diagnostic tools in your tool belt. Okay. But also for all business and anything that we are looking to accomplish, as I said, it starts with first what we, me, you, all of us believe. So here's the belief that is behind the answers that I am about to give you. There's a belief that needs to go behind all of these things, right? So that you can get to the place that what you're saying, that's this consistency, right? And here what it is. You, me, we, I don't care about having a high occupancy. I don't care about having a high occupancy. I care about having a high revenue. Having a high occupancy business is irrelevant. I could have 100% occupancy. And if I'm not charging the right things, I can still make no money. And I could be occupied for 2 days and charge an insane amount of money in the right case and make all the money I need. I care about a high revenue business. So what does that mean in this case? It means a number of things. For example, L times C times F times M. I'm going to focus on the M for you because I know this is at play. When your customer arrives, one of the things that they have to purchase often is transportation. So they're going to purchase transportation from somewhere, somehow. Even if all they do is purchase transportation from Uber, do you even give them a referral code? even if all they're ever going to do is get, Instacart delivered to them, do you give them a referral code? If all they're ever going to do is do Grubhub and DoorDash or if they're a higher caliber individual, have you made a relationship with a transportation company? Because here's what I know to be true, is that people love to be picked up at the airport. They love to be taken back to the airport. Sometimes they even love having their car while they're in the place that they're going. But if we don't make the offer, they're not going to volunteer. They're just going to go with what they already know. They don't know that you, Mr. Lee, or any of you, could actually provide the service unless you tell them. In fact, they assume you don't have it if you don't say anything. Can you provide early arrival, late departure? Could you fill up their refrigerator ahead of time, especially if they're coming for those 13-week contracts? Let me tell you one very important thing that can help you stick out with the medical travelers, because I've done this a number of times. It'll make sense once I say it. But when they come to your area, you know they work at the hospital. Well, why not offer them a pair of scrubs? A free pair of scrubs to stay at your place. You would be surprised at what people would do for a free pair of scrubs. I've been surprised, if that makes sense, right?
Makes a lot of sense.
And a free pair of scrubs. Now, it's very simple, but it's a standard business practice. And that's the challenge. When we get over to real estate type of strategies, we tend to forget that it's still a business. And because it's still a business, we don't do what we've seen done all the time. McDonald's has trained us. We don't order a burger. We don't even order a burger and fries. And we definitely don't say, give me a burger, fries, and a drink. We say, I want a number one. And they ask us, do you want even that supersized? And here's the difference. You don't know what your number one, number two, number three are. And you don't know what supersize means for your customer. So therefore, you are only selling the burger. Now, here's the rub with that. Okay. I've been saying this for a long time. I'm going to say it differently. So hopefully maybe people will hear me. The rate, your daily rate that you are receiving from, say, an Airbnb or whatever, the business model is not designed to make a profit on the daily rate at all. You are hoping to break even at best. Now, if you do make a profit, great. It's awesome. And yes, in a few weeks and months, guess what? There's going to be a ton of people talking about, oh my God, this is great, making all this money, because they're only talking about the accommodation rate. And right around September, end of October, we're going to be right back here. Happens every year. Because people fail to finish answering the customer's question. They serve the customer in an incomplete way. So that would be like McDonald's getting upset. How come I can't make all my money? How do I sell more burgers? No, just add fries. Give them an apple pie. Create a Happy Meal. Oh, okay. And you'll sell more of all the other stuff too. And that's really one of the biggest challenges that I see over and over and over again. Now, the reason I know this is true is because you said you only have one unit. This business, here's another one. It's known as the law of adverse selection. The law of adverse selection. And it's hard to avoid because the law of large numbers is not yet on your side. Here's what I mean. Portfolio theory suggests that in order to make a portfolio safer and more stable, your portfolio is a unit of one. To make it safer and more stable, you add more risk. In this case, more units. This business, specifically short-term rentals, is hardest from 0 to 7 units. Hardest. It is not easiest. It is not the easy way to figure out, is this for you? It is actually the hardest way to do it because of things of like what you're talking about right now. Because what the answer to your question, meaning more margin, adding more services, that is the answer. But it's hard for you to execute because you don't have yet enough people. You can't afford enough people and systems to be able to support the systems that can provide the additional revenue. So some of the basic things you can start with, I'll give you 3 actionable steps. Look at your messaging, and you're going to need to automate offering things like Uber, Instagram, etc. That's number 1. Number 2, look on your local Chamber of Commerce or BNI. BNI, that's Bravo Nancy Indigo. Bravo Nancy Indigo. You'll have a local BNI chapter somewhere near you. This is a collection of small business owners in your local market that work by and only by referral. So when I go to a new market, it's one of the first things I do because I know that organization has already vetted business owners who provide services. They're primarily service business. So, and from their chapter roster, I can add additional services and offer additional services and know that I'm going to get a reasonably good person because their reputation with that organization is on the line. And therefore, I can add almost anything from transportation to flower delivery, food delivery, to my existing guest without having to bear the cost of the infrastructure. Okay, so there's 2 things. 1, margin. Add more services, and it doesn't have to be overly complicated because you're going to use somebody else's service, but you've got to automate the messaging because what gets automated, that gets done. You're not going to remember to do it. And then go BNI or Chamber of Commerce, find some small business owners in the local area, because guess what we're really good at as a short-term rental operator is giving other businesses business. I used to say this a lot, but it's still true, but it's hard to think. We are actually an import-export business too. We are a distribution business, guys. That is really what we are. We are import-export. What do we export? We export the experience of our cities and units where we operate. And we bring people in. Because if people didn't have a place to stay, they wouldn't come. They would not come. Now, they may have other things that they're doing, so we're not the initial catalyst, but we are a major part of the equation. They wouldn't come. So, therefore, because we can have a very low customer cost, meaning of acquisition. One way to leverage it is to sell, quote unquote, that customer acquisition cost to other businesses. How do you do that? It's just an affiliate relationship. Hey, this person wants flowers delivered. What we like to do is, okay, if they want flowers delivered, we've already got a relationship with a local vendor. We know what their price is. We add 40% to it and then charge our guest and pay the vendor. Done. It is not uncommon for us to literally to another business give $40,000, $60,000, $70,000 a month to other businesses in terms of additional revenue because they are the ones delivering the service in the geographic location. Notice how I said I didn't start the business. I said I leveraged what's already there. Okay, so that's important. So that's number 2. So number 1, you got automate the messaging. Number 2, you're going to be able to leverage someone else's business to go out there and actually deliver whatever the additional services are. Now, number 3, y'all just might as well get used to hearing this. Get more units. That's the answer. Almost all the answers are going to always come back to get more units, because once you have enough units, it gets really, the business just gets easier and easier. One of the things that we specialize in is helping individuals go from where they are to where we want them to be. Let me tell you where that is. I want you to experience having your current annual income happen on a monthly basis That's the first experience. The second one is then reducing your work schedule to 1 hour a day. Both of those things combined is what we are designed to produce and do and help you do. Simple as that. So we want you to experience having your annual income happen monthly. And then secondly, have that then take you 1 hour per day to do. But the first three things, according to the information that you've given me, that's what I would do. I would do those things and implement those things so that they would begin to help produce some revenue. Now, notice I said nothing about lowering price. I said nothing probably close to anything like you were thinking I was going to say, because getting more leads and trying to convert more customers is nothing for you at this moment but a waste of time, because you only have one unit. The amount of effort and energy that you are going to expend in terms of getting that one next person is only going to take you so far, if that makes sense. Okay. And what I want is what you actually need, because you would not care if you were vacant 15 days if you already had more than enough money. You wouldn't care as much. Does that make sense? So.
Yes, sir. It makes a lot of sense. Several things you said that I've actually already done. I've kind of been basically trying to update and upgrade as I go, practically this whole year from
well, hold on, Mr. Lee, respectfully, there's no practically being done. It's either done or it's not. Okay.
All right. So, long story short, I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
But basically, what you're saying is that I need to get more units in order to make the profit or the money that I want to make.
Absolutely. The answer to the equation is often get more units. That is by far the most common answer is get more units, because that's usually the issue. You're not running enough revenue through the level of expenses that you got, and you haven't achieved what is known as operational leverage. And that operational leverage does kick in, but it typically doesn't really kick in until you're in the teens, 17, 18, 19, because by that point you've got a fully built internal team, and you tend to not have to add as much expenses. So, and for clarity, when I say done, that line of revenue should be apparent on your profit and loss statement each and every month, and should be a dependable number within a certain level of standard deviation, to where you know that, hey, every month I can reliably count on X thousands of dollars from transportation, X thousands of dollars from affiliate fees, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you for tuning in to the Cashflow Diary podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please subscribe, share with a friend, and leave a rating and a review. If you'd like to keep the conversation going, head over to CashFlowDiary.com to sign up for our email list, as well as check out all of the links and resources in the show notes. Thank you again. Until next time.